My name is Dr. Mark Otieno. I'm a senior lecturer of agroecology in the University of Embu, and I'm also the director of research and extension in this university, where I oversee all research that are being undertaken by staff, students, and all the visiting researchers here. The grant that I've won from the German Research Foundation, or the Deutsche Forschungsgemeinschaft, is actually to implement a project that is looking at the role of night-flying pollinators in the reproduction of coffee and papaya crops. And perhaps I need to explain what pollination is so that we put it into context. Pollination really is the transfer of pollen grains, which are the male gametes, from the male part of a flower to the female part of a flower. And the reason that happens is to effect fertilization, which results into seeds and the fruits. And some of these fruits are the ones we eat as human food. So this is an extremely relevant field and is an extremely important phase for plants to go through so that we are able to get the next generation of plants. So for the people who are involved in this particular project, it will be implemented by a panel of researchers led by me here at the University of Embu. But I also have colleagues in Germany. There is a professor, Dr. Ingo Stefan de Winter, who is a professor of spatial ecology, plant-insect interactions, agroecosystem management, and crop pollination. We also have Dr. Marcel Peters, who is a specialist in montane biodiversity, ecology, and just looking at ecosystem services generally. So this is the team that is going to implement this 3-year project, which is supposed to start in May of this 2023 up to May of 2026. In research, again, you just don't do it for the sake of doing. There has to be an underlying reason or a gap to fill, and there are many of them, because there has been a worldwide trend in decline of pollinators generally because of many reasons. One of them is mainly because of human activities that is negatively affecting these pollinators. And as such, the day-flying pollinators, including bees, for example, have received a lot of attention. But while they're receiving a lot of attention, we do not know really the fate of other arthropods or insects that fly by night, for example, moths. In the tropical systems like ours, where we are in Kenya, we have a bigger diversity or larger diversity of these night-flying moths. And we know that the moths are actually adapted for visiting flowers, meaning they perform an important role in pollinating these flowers. Yet there's really little information with regards to the contribution these moths play in crop production. So that is one of the things that informed my study area. The other thing is that there is a lot of emphasis on large-bodied visitors of flowers, which are pollinators. But one thing you need to understand is that these large-bodied insects are also very selective. They will always go for flowers that have bigger heads, also the ones that have better scent, smelling nicer. And they will not really pay attention to other crops that do not fit this kind of traits or characteristics. Hence, moths are one subset of insects that could actually really become handy with regards to visiting these flowers that are not visited by the more charismatic pollinators, you know, the honeybees, the carpenter bees, the bumblebees, the other types of bees that are normally popular with entomologists or people who are doing crop pollination. So I think it's important that we pay attention to also these night-flying pollinators, which are basically moths in our case here, and then understand what role really they play with regards to affecting crop production.
Recently, one of our lecturers won a huge grant amounting to Kenya shillings approximately 106 million. And indeed, this is the highest grant that the University of Embu has won so far. And it's a grant that helps to put the University of Embu in the world map.